Your web browser, it's pretty much your window to the entire internet, right? But what if that window was, I don't know, cleaner, faster, and way more private? Well, today we're diving into Brave, a browser that has this really bold mission to fix the web. And wow, it has a story full of ambition and, yeah, a good bit of controversy.
Oh man, we have all been there. You click on a link and boom, it's just a barrage of pop-ups, video ads that start blasting sound, and you get that creepy feeling that someone is watching every single move you make online. All that junk doesn't just clutter up your screen, it actually slows your browsing down to a crawl. It's like the tax we have to pay to use the modern web. But what if there was another way? And this, right here, is the core promise of Brave. Instead of a web that's totally bogged down by ads and trackers, you get an experience that they claim is anywhere from 3 to 6 times faster. And how do they do it? Well, it blocks all that intrusive stuff right out of the box. You don't need to install extensions, you don't have to go fiddle with settings, it's just a completely different starting point from every other browser.
So where did this kind of radical idea even come from? To really get what Brave is all about, we have to go back to the beginning, to the people who built it, and the fundamental problem with the internet that they were just dead set on solving.
Okay, the pedigree behind Brave is just incredible. It was founded back in 2015 by Brendan Eich. Now, if that name sounds familiar, it should. This is the person who literally created JavaScript, the programming language that powers pretty much the entire interactive web. He was also the former CEO of Mozilla, the folks behind Firefox, so he teamed up with an engineer named Brian Bondi, and their goal wasn't just to build another browser. No, it was to completely re-architect the web's economy by putting user privacy first.
And Brave's ambition? It didn't stop at just being a faster, ad-blocking browser. Not even close. Over the years, it's evolved from that one simple idea into this sprawling ecosystem. Believe it or not, complete with its own search engine, its own cryptocurrency, and even a built-in AI assistant. So you can see the journey here. It launches in 2016, but then the first huge pivot comes just 1 year later when they introduce their own cryptocurrency. Then in 2018, they switch over to the Chromium codebase. That's the same foundation as Google Chrome, which Brave said gave them a 22% performance boost. After that, they expanded into search in 2021, and then their own AI assistant in 2023. I mean, each of these steps moved it further and further away from just being a browser and more toward being its own full-fledged platform.
Okay, so this of course leads to a massive, and I mean really controversial question. If your whole thing is blocking the ads that fund the internet, how on earth do you make any money? This is where Brave's whole model gets both fascinating and, yeah, pretty contentious. Right? It's the central paradox of Brave. The very thing it promises to get rid of, ads, is also, in a weird way, totally central to its survival. But their approach is completely different from, the status quo. The answer is something called the Basic Attention Token, or BAT for short. So this is a cryptocurrency that's built on Ethereum. The entire idea is to create a new kind of digital ad market, one where your attention is the product that you actually own and can get paid for, instead of something that's just kind of taken from you.
Now, this is super important. The whole system is completely opt-in. You have to choose to participate. If you do, Brave will show you its own privacy-respecting ads, and they're just small notifications. For looking at them, you earn a share of the revenue in BAT tokens. Then, you can automatically tip your favorite websites and creators, or you can connect an account and keep the tokens for yourself. It's this wild attempt to fund the web without constant surveillance. But look, the road here has been pretty bumpy. Brave's first idea to just replace a website's ads with its own, that was heavily criticized by publishers, as you can imagine. Then in 2018, they got some serious backlash when it came out that users could tip creators who hadn't even signed up to get the money. And in 2020, they were caught automatically adding their own affiliate referral codes to URLs for crypto websites, a move their CEO later called a mistake and then made opt-in.
So all of these controversies, they raise a really critical question about Brave's main selling point. Does it actually deliver on its promise of superior privacy? Well, let's weigh the evidence.
On the one hand, the answer seems to be a big resounding yes. According to tests by the Electronic Frontier Foundation, they're a leading digital rights group, Brave got a strong protection rating against web tracking. Other academic studies have also found that Brave sends the least amount of identifying data back to its parent company when you compare it to other browsers.
So this protection all comes from a suite of features that they call Brave Shields. This system automatically blocks trackers and forces websites to use secure connections. It also fights this sneaky technique called fingerprinting, which is where sites try to identify you based on subtle details like your screen size or the fonts you have installed. And for an extra layer of privacy, its private mode even integrates the Tor anonymity network.
But that powerful privacy promise, it hasn't exactly been flawless. Just like we saw with its business model, there have been some pretty notable stumbles that have definitely undermined user trust along the way.
You know, when you look at their history, a clear pattern starts to emerge. An issue pops up, and then they respond. In 2021, a bug was found that leaked some private Tor traffic, which, to their credit, Brave did patch later. In 2022, they got heat for installing their paid VPN services on Windows computers without asking permission. And that whole affiliate link thing we mentioned shows a direct conflict between making money and protecting users. So while they often do correct their course, these incidents have definitely chipped away at their reputation for some people.
And yet, despite all of these issues, Brave's message is clearly resonating with people. Get this, the company announced it had crossed 100 million monthly active users. That is a massive number of people who have decided that the promise of a faster, less intrusive internet is compelling enough to make the switch.
So, at the end of the day, Brave presents you with a really clear choice. It offers undeniable speed and powerful default privacy protections that, frankly, outperform most of its rivals. But it comes with a complex and, let's be honest, sometimes controversial business model that has led to some real missteps. The question for any of us is whether that promise is worth navigating all the compromises. And that's a decision only you can make.